looking for the facts, well, you done came to the right place. You've now checked in with blog partner, 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 blog partner.
Here it is. It's your boy Blog Partner. Back up in this thing one more again. You know I keep this thing growing legs. I'm putting something positive into the universe. Today I got a motivational force, somebody who's big in the community, a founder, a director. If you want a new home, if you want a mansion, she's gonna put you in there. Most importantly, a mother. Let them know who I got in the building.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi guys, my name is Jay Lipscomb. Thank you for having me. That was an awesome introduction.
Thank you for being here. Let them know where you're from.
I'm from here. I'm from Columbia, Tennessee. I'm a hometown girl.
Shouts out to Columbia, Tennessee. From Southside?
Southside.
Okay. Shouts out to the
Southside and West Side.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's being from Columbia? What's it known for to you?
What's Columbia known for?
Yeah, to you.
Well, Columbia has a lot of history. A lot of folks don't know of the rich history that we have here in Columbia, as far as the being the birthplace of the civil rights movement. Really, a lot of folks didn't know that.
I didn't either.
You know, we're known for Mule Day, but Mule Day has a history with it. It hasn't always been the best history for African Americans, but it is a history.
Right.
And it is a staple here in this community.
How did being from Columbia rub off on you?
How did it rub off on me? Well, I moved away for a while, went off to school for a while, and then came back and saw that I wasn't so happy with what I saw, to be honest with you, if I can be honest with you, when I first came back.
Back to Columbia?
I wasn't happy, and so I wanted to create some change, and so I came back here to create change. And so Columbia means a lot to me. This is my hometown. This is where I have a lot of family, a lot of love, and so my heart is here.
Okay. Well, check this out. I know you got a big family. Who you looked up to when you was growing up?
Oh wow! Oh, you're gonna get me in trouble for that. I do
you can
have
pick a couple. You can pick a couple. You ain't got to just pick one person.
Well, I really can't even pick one. It's just crazy that you asked me that, because I was just having this conversation with my mom just about a week ago, and I was just telling her how inspired I was by everybody really in the family. It's like little pieces from everyone in the family. You know, I see. Some of my uncles and some of my aunts were hustlers, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I got
some of that. To them.
So I got hustle mentality from that. I saw some that were entrepreneurs. And so taking that, you know what I mean, and taking all those bits and pieces, because I did grow up with a lot of them, and seeing that, and seeing their attributes and their positive assets, I was, you know, that poured a lot into me and who I am today. So I can't pick one. Why are you trying to get me in trouble over here? It's all of them, really. It was 13 of them, 14 making my mom, but
for sure.
Very instrumental in my life.
Okay. Shouts out to them. The Lipscombs, right?
Yeah.
Shouts out to the
Lipscombs, Walkers, Bookers, Pies.
Okay, yeah, big
fan. You can't say just one. Shouts you got to give it all.
Okay, well, check this out. What do you like doing? Let the people know what you like when you just chilling. What you like doing when you just chilling?
I love music. Anybody who knows me knows I do everything I do it to music. I used to get in trouble when I was younger because my mom wanted me to, when I would have homework, I would have music doing my homework, and she was like, "You can't learn anything."
Getting it done like this.
Yes, doing music, but I do everything to music. Music was the heart of my family. It's the heart of it. You know, music resonates in so many pieces of my life. You know what I mean? And music can uplift you. Music can empower you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Music can it can make you feel so many different things. So I love, music is one of my
I can agree with you on that. Okay, well, check this out. I know everybody else know that you're a very dedicated and determined individual. Where do you get that from? Where your dedication and determination come from?
Oh my goodness. I get that from my family. My mom, seeing her as a hard worker, my grandmother, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Seeing so many women of purpose, my aunt, seeing her, you know, as a stylist, her opening her own barbershop and
Gotcha.
salon. My uncle, who I absolutely love to pieces, Nay, who passed, you know, Bubba,
Yeah.
you know, his hustle mentality and the way that he saw things, and if you want something,
Rest
to
in
go
peace
get
to
it.
Bub. For
Yeah.
sure. We're gonna get it.
So,
We're gonna talk about him in just a
all
second too.
right.
But
Well,
I'm
just
listening to you.
that, just, you know, just those folks, and it, you know, and then I have some great mentors that have been in my life. I'm so
Okay.
thankful for that I've crossed paths with. You know, Miss Annie was a great mentor to me. Mr. Jim York is a great mentor
Okay.
here. So I have some amazing mentors. Who Miss Clemmy Greenlee out of Nashville. I mean, I can go down a whole slew of
A
lists.
whole
I'm
lot of
trying. I'm like,
getting them.
when I start to name them, I'm like, I get
You
myself
don't
in
want to
trouble
lose
because
nobody. Yeah, I
you
be the
forget
same way. I
some.
be the
So,
same way.
I mean, just all those great folks that have crossed my path that have poured into me. You know, I'm always thankful for. You know how that
Yeah,
goes.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Shouts out to all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to all them. But check this out right here. Hmm. All hands on deck. Uh.
Yes, all hands on deck.
Explain that. What's up with all hands on deck? What? How you come up with that?
Um, that I can't even take the credit for that. That was
Okay.
truly God gifted. And at the time when it came about, um I don't know if you ever operated in purpose when something is, you know, like what you're doing is purpose. It's
Yeah,
different. It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
different drive.
For sure.
It's
For
a
sure.
different drive. It's not about it's a different motivation. It's a different mindset. It's not about clocking in, it's not about clocking out, it's about getting the job done.
Right.
And it's not about answering to anybody other
Right.
than your
Right.
creator. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Because it's a purpose that has to be done. And sometimes you have folks that will discourage you and tell you that you can't do that. Like when we started the first expungement clinic here, we were told that was impossible. You know what I mean?
That make me
And
go
here we
hard.
is, we made it. We made it
Yeah.
happen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
For sure.
So it's those things that it's I think it's those things that that when you're adversity, when you come up against those things that and it's what you do with it. And so when all hands on deck, like I said, when that idea or opportunity came, I had just lost my uncle. I
Talking
wanted
about
to
Nay
do
again,
something.
right?
Yeah, I had just
Okay.
lost my uncle. I wanted to do something that was that created a purpose. And so I was the crazy girl that on Saturday would go to Fairview Park and rent out the center and call everyone and say, "Hey, can I expunge your record?" Because I always
I
thought
remember that.
that if he had a second opportunity, that it would have changed the trajectory of his
So that's when
future.
you started it, when you was doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so it was something that was created really out of passion and love, and it created its own legs and its own, and it became a
You
501c3.
said it's on
And
legs?
yes,
Growing legs?
it did.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
And so it's its own entity. You know, now we have a youth group, Vision Academy. We have opportunities with that we've branched out to, that we now service Geodis in places like Vanderbilt and things like that, that
Yeah.
we have sponsorships with. And it's just been an amazing and phenomenal opportunity, and to be a part of the journey and to be a chosen one.
Right.
That right there, like I said, I I can't take the credit. I can just take the credit for being a steward.
But you got that's when you got I be seeing you with the kids at the concession stands.
Hmm.
Then I seen y'all be like at the soccer thing in
We
Nashville, y'all
do,
be at the big joints, you know what
we
I'm saying?
do.
So I take my hat off to you for that, you know what I'm saying?
There's been some amazing
Yeah,
opportunities, and so like I said, it just started for something that it was just really heartfelt,
for sure.
and we didn't want another family to feel what my family had felt, and so
For sure.
just helping our youth. Our youth here don't really have a lot to do,
Right.
you know.
I take my hat off to you for that too. Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Because like, you know, when I had to come to you with my son, you know, so me and my
Hmm.
wife came to you, my
Hmm.
son, it wasn't just what we had to come to you about. You still was giving them something different. You was telling them something different about life. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And I know you big in the community. That's why I said that, because when you did that, you didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But you did it, and I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate
But these
that.
kids, they need that. They don't need to just You go do this, you go do that, and then just sign off for this and bam. But you give them something else to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? So
we're really proud of our program. Like I said,
right,
to have the juvenile courts access to create a program, and then to have a program where right now we have a 96% non-return rate to the juvenile court. So we have
that's
one of the
good.
highest non-return rates,
That's
which we're,
good.
I would love 100%.
Y'all heard what she said,
I
man.
love
Heard what she
100%.
said.
However, being the highest, and I don't take that for granted. I love our youth, and like I said, if we can help one youth change and redirect them, then we've done a
Done something
service.
for sure, for sure. Well, I take my hat out to you again. Okay, let's move on to something else. Everything turns to soul. Is that you? That's you too?
Everything I touch turns to
Okay, yeah,
soul.
everything.
Yes,
Okay, everything you touch
yes,
turns to soul. Man, you got a
yes.
lot going on. Explain that to these people. What that is?
That's my real estate venture.
Okay,
That's
okay,
something else I actually love. That's
okay.
I love helping folks, and in that entity, I love I'm helping folks build wealth.
For
Real
sure.
estate. So many times people think real estate. When people think about real estate, they think about a building, right? A
Right.
house, and stuff like that. But if you take down the word real estate, I'm a wordsmith. I love to play with words.
So,
If you take the words real and estate, it means real wealth. And
okay.
so when you're talking about real estate, it's really teaching folks. I'm not showing people they can go buy and sell a house with any realtor.
For
My
sure.
thing is to educate folks on when is the best time to buy, how to buy,
Okay.
when what that purchase does for
Y'all paying
you,
attention now. Y'all paying
changing the
attention.
trajectory of your future as far as financial future, your youth's future, what it can do for you. So it's just so many different things that real estate can do for a family. And so it's just really about that educational base. And I love helping people get to another level. You know what I mean? Helping folks, being a part of someone else's blessing, someone else's goals, someone else's gifts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And being able to be a part of that,
It feel good.
it does
Yeah.
feel good. It's
What they say is more
rewarding.
happiness in giving than it is
It
receiving.
is. It
Yeah.
really
I
is. And
got
it's
you on that.
rewarding. I get chills even just talking about it.
Yep.
So I get excited about what I get to do. When I get up every day, I'm not going to work. You know what I mean? I have
Right.
a purpose.
Okay.
And it's a different drive.
That's
And so
good.
yeah, I have a few hats that I wear, and I'm okay with that.
I ain't gonna have no more heads. I keep taking them out for you. I take my head out to you again for that. Okay, but check this out. We're gonna try to have a little fun with this.
Okay.
2024 DNC in Chicago. You was there?
Yeah,
Okay. How was that? How was
that
that?
was. Oh my
That was
goodness,
straight, wasn't it?
that was phenomenal.
Okay.
If it's one word, that
I
was.
thought you were about to run for president up there. I was looking
Oh
at
my
the picture.
goodness.
Nah, you like you
It
had
was.
fun though.
I did have fun. I was able to take my daughter,
Yeah, I
and
saw that. Saw that.
she was able to witness history. So it wasn't just about being part of the DNC. I did go as a Tennessee delegate. So thank you guys for electing me as your representative here out of
Congratulations to that.
Columbia in Murray County to go and represent Tennessee
For sure.
and to talk about rural counties in rural Tennessee. So that was an amazing opportunity to be able to meet other folks in the room
Yeah.
that not just like-minded folks, but folks that have ideas that can, it's. I don't like to always be the smartest person in the room.
Me
You
neither.
know what I mean?
I
And
like to.
so,
Yeah, I feel what you're
yeah,
saying.
when you're in the room with people that are in power, empowering, you know what I mean? It does something. It's electrifying. So I can't. I still haven't been able to put it into words.
You like learning.
What really
Yeah.
what I felt that week, but it was an amazing experience.
I seen you on pictures with what's the guy? They got kicked out of the thing that time. The one with the afro.
Oh, you're talking about the Tennessee
The
Three.
young black dude. Yeah, I
Yes, the
seen you on the
Tennessee
picture with
Three.
them. That's what's up. They deep in it. Was Democratic? What's the name, right?
They are. They're part of
Yeah.
the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is doing quite a few things
Yeah.
and shaking up Tennessee. So I'm hoping that I'll be knocking on a few doors and talking to you guys here soon, so that we can change our local community, because local votes is what changes our local community. So I'll be talking to you guys pretty soon about that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, check this out. What about Juneteenth that's coming up?
Yes.
What's up with Juneteenth in Colombia? It's a part of history that I think you know, but I don't think they know, and I don't think I really know. Could you explain it to us? Something about Juneteenth in Columbia, Tennessee.
Juneteenth. One of my mentors, Mr. Jim York, brought Juneteenth back a few years ago, bringing back the history, really wanting Columbia to know, especially the youth to know what Juneteenth really meant. You know,
Okay,
we celebrate Mule Day,
right.
we celebrate those days, but
But
what
now they
does
celebrate Juneteenth.
yes, and
Yeah.
now it's about Juneteenth and putting Juneteenth on the map and really understanding our history.
When I was a kid, I didn't know what it was.
No. And so we wanted to get that information. So it was just one day I was having a conversation with our mayor, and I asked the question. I was like, why is it not an official holiday? You know, it's something that stems from, I mean, we're talking about centuries ago. You know, why is it not an official holiday? You know, and so he said, that's a good question. And so he said, well, maybe because no one has really requested. And so I said, well, how can we get that done?
Right.
And he gave me, again, like we did on the expungement thing, these impossible steps to do. And it was like, okay, let me figure this out. And so we went back and forth with wording. He told me it needed to be a proclamation. It needed to be an event. It needed to be this, that, and the other. And so we put together an expungement clinic.
Okay.
That was our event that we hosted.
So you popped it off then?
Yes, we put together an expungement clinic.
Okay.
That was going to be the event for the presentation. And we wrote the proclamation, went back and forth as far as the verbiage, had attorneys look at it, had their office look at it, the mayor's office look at it, and it became an official document. And we didn't know when I was writing that we were making history. We were just wanting to wanting to make Columbia know the history and make it important. As far as Juneteenth, an important day, our history, making it important.
Right.
And so next thing I know, we get the paper and we open it up and we find out Columbia was the first city to adopt Juneteenth as the official holiday in Tennessee.
Golly.
And so
that's deep right there.
Yes.
That's
and
deep
so
right
that
there.
was I wrote the proclamation and I woke up that morning. It was just an amazing day.
What's up.
And so to have that paper sitting in my home, you know, it's a piece of history, and to be a part of history. Like I said, it's just, you know, when you're doing things and God is directing this, you never know what God is going to take you.
For sure.
So.
But that's right. That was deep right there. We all learned something. And this Juneteenth coming up, and I got you right here.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? God did this.
Yes.
Okay. But check this out right here. We're going to have a little fun. Now, hold on. Memphis. What do you think about the Memphis crime with these, like, this murder? What do you think? I know you went to school in Memphis. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think could be done? Like, what do they need? They don't need the National Guard? They need a lot of prayers. Like, what do you think they need?
I mean, prayers always help.
Prayers work.
Yeah, prayers work. So you can't deny that. Memphis has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I know. That's why I asked. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, man. People don't want to go there. I mean, Memphis is a beautiful city. You know what I'm saying? But people don't want to go there.
Has great food.
Yeah. Soul, all that, everything. You know what I'm saying?
It is. I think it's just been years of a corrupt government. To be honest,
that's what it is, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it stems back from when I was even in the 90s. You know, the government that they had back in the 90s, where they were having, you know, when you go to Memphis, you got the broken streets. You know what I mean? You have here, as far as homes, a lot of folks don't know this. Check this out. Memphis being a major city, did you know that Columbia houses cost more than Memphis homes? Like right now, Memphis homes are still priced under $200,000.
I didn't know that.
Here in Columbia, the average home for just a 3-bedroom, 2-bath is going to be $424,000. That is almost twice as much as what people would pay for that in Memphis. And Memphis is a metro city, so think about that for a minute. So, I mean, I hate to see what's going on, but
me too.
Memphis can change. They can change that. You know what I mean?
We're praying for Memphis. Yeah. Shouts out to Memphis. Memphis is a beautiful city. We're praying for Memphis.
Isn't it the number one? They're the number one place crime right now. Yeah.
I think murder, homicide. Yeah.
And the police are not responding
in America.
Yeah, which is that's sad to say. So yeah.
We're praying for Memphis.
Absolutely.
What do you think about this person? Needs prayers too. You think about Diddy. What do you think about old Diddy? What do you think? What
Oh
do you think on what's
my.
up with Diddy, man? What do you think about old Diddy, man?
I
Puff Daddy, Diddy, whatever. What do you think about him?
what do I think about Diddy? I try not to think
I just
about
shake my head,
Diddy.
man. It's
I think we kind of all suspected something, don't you say?
oh yeah, yeah. You can
Don't you think?
his character.
I
Yeah, you
think
can see.
I think
Yeah,
our intuition was kind of, you know, it was accurate. I think we always felt like it was
yeah. He was a little
something.
extra. He was something to him.
We just couldn't put our finger on it.
Yeah,
So I mean, I hate to see that, you
yeah.
know,
I hate to
because that
see it
was
too.
again someone with power and could empower
Yep, could
so
have.
many with what he was doing and
Yep,
was so instrumental in the music community. And to see that,
yep.
you know, I always hate to see.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I always hate to
And
see
I
that.
like how you put it, because ain't nobody bashing him because of what's going on. It's just what you said. Look at all he had going on
And
that
what
was
he could have
good,
done with
and what he
it.
could have did, and how he crashed out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he done crashed out.
Oh yeah,
He done crashed out. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, he's absolutely done that. I hate to see that, but yeah.
well, I'm gonna get down to the bottom. I'm gonna ask you one more thing before we get
Okay.
up out of here. Did you see the BET Awards? The
I
new one?
did. I checked out a few of
BET
that.
Awards, a straight one.
I
I didn't see it all, but
did.
I was seeing. I was like, man,
And what's crazy is
it
I have
was.
not watched the BET Awards in years
You watched the
because
good one. You watched this one. You watched the good
I
one.
did.
It was
And I
alright.
was really impressed. They
Me
really
too.
did a very
Me
good
too.
job. And Tyler Perry said something very important, and I hope people paid
What'd
attention
he
to
say?
that. He talked about the fact that he has made more millionaire black actors than everyone in that city combined.
Mm.
Do you know what that means? Paramount, all of
He got that.
those.
What's the name? He got that compound, whatever it is, like the
Yes, but it took a while. You know, for a
yeah,
while, people talked about the fact that, you know, Tyler Perry didn't pay, um, excuse me, certain actors certain ways. But I
right,
get it because he was trying to build. He was
right,
paying them, but he may not have been able to pay them what they may have felt like it was needed to be paid. But he was paying what he could at the time
right.
so that he could still build. Now he can pay them. Now he's paying them. You know, he paid Megan Good the highest she's ever gotten paid. You know what I mean?
He paying. Yeah, I'm
Taraji.
finna say her.
Yes.
She getting paid
Now
now.
she's yeah, so
So
all of
Roger,
that,
you getting paid
yes,
now. That's
all
what's
of
up.
that.
That's
But the
what's
thing
up.
is, we have to look at
For
how we're
sure.
supporting those in the black community.
I take my
You know
hat
what I
off to him.
mean?
He
And
taking
those
care of
black
business.
businesses.
Yeah. He came from what? New Orleans, living in a car. At some.
Yeah, but a
Sometimes
lot
he
of
was
times
living in
we
a car.
talk about those things and
Yeah.
we don't look at what that sacrifice is really, what he's really trying to do.
Right.
We sit there and a lot of folks were bashing him. You know, he's not paying folks. Okay, well, let's find out what's really going on before we jump on the bandwagon and start bashing
See what's
someone that's
really going
trying to
on
do
with it.
something great. So
I take
yeah,
my
it
hat
was an
off to old
amazing
Tyler Perry,
show.
man.
There was a
Yeah,
lot of greatness in that
yep,
show.
yep. Icon. They gave was it
Jamie
Jamie Foxx?
Foxx.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Like I
Jamie
said, I seen
Foxx.
bits and pieces of it. What's his name? Kevin Hart. He had me rolling though.
He's funny.
Boy,
He
crazy.
was so
He
funny.
crazy. Kevin
And then
Hart.
you had let's see, you had Jamie Foxx, you had Snoop, I
Snoop.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
You had I mean, I really wish I'll be glad. Can I say something?
All to say it.
I'll be
Floor is
glad when they
yours.
give Chris Brown his flowers.
Yeah, come on, man. I like
Man,
Breeze. Yeah,
that
that was a
man
good
puts
one
out
right
some
there.
amazing
Yeah,
music.
every time, no matter what he
Yes,
going through.
across all generations. And
But you
yet,
gotta go through stuff to put that stuff out. But yeah,
yes,
Chris
and he made a
Brown,
mistake.
he's
Yes,
hard with his
yes,
music.
but his music is amazing.
Every song.
Every
Every
song,
song.
like you don't have to skip
Yeah.
anything.
Now
It's
you
one
gotta
of them
skip
old
nothing.
schools where it's
For
like
sure.
I could play this in an 8-track and be all right.
Yeah, he hard like that. For sure.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, just one thing, and I appreciate you coming through here. And one day I want you to come back, you know what I'm
In the
saying?
storm and all.
In the storm and all.
On the
Hey.
Friday the 13th.
And on the Friday, hey, this crazy. The Friday the 13th edition. But check this out. I always say something positive for the youth. I know you always do. Could you say one more thing positive for the youth before we get up out of here?
Oh, me, one thing positive for the youth. Let me think about that.
Take your time.
You know, we're in a society where right now social media is prevalent. Everyone is wanting to be liked or loved,
Yep.
right? Instagram has you wanting to follow me, right?
Right.
I gotta follow you, you know, and this, that, and the other. And we are building a society of just that, followers and not leaders.
It's crazy.
And no one wants to be themselves and be unique. And what's sad is it's if we were all the same, it's almost like a crayon box. If we were all yellow, how boring would that get, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's how it is.
It is. Yeah, everyone's afraid to be themselves.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? God created you to be uniquely you. And if you're not being you, how boring of a society is that if we're all the same? Sure. So my words would be encouraging them to be themselves, be unique.
Yeah, I heard
be
that.
Boldly you.
Sure.
Brand yourself. You can't brand yourself if you're like everybody else. You can't stand out if you're like everybody else. You can't. Your purpose and what you were supposed to be planted here for, if you're trying to be like everyone else, we're going to miss out. The world is going to miss out on why you were truly planted to be here. So I would encourage you to be you, be yourself, be powerful, be bold, be beautiful, be unique.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. I appreciate you coming through here, man. I really do. Look in there and let them know where they can find you at.
Well, you can find, he's kind of giving all my hats, but you can find me on my website at www.jlipscomb.com. That's www.jailipscomb.com. Or you can go to www.everythingitouchturns-to-soul.com. Or you can go to www.myahod.org. Excuse me, let me say that again. www.myahod.org. Please come and see us.
Facebook, Instagram,
yes, Facebook, Instagram. If you need to contact us, we'll be doing an expungement clinic. Oh, speaking of our expungement clinic, stay tuned for our expungement clinic for this year. We have pushed it back past July because there are new requirements this year for expungements and getting your voting rights reinstated. They always try to make this thing harder and harder. So give us a shout out, give us a call. Yes, you can call us on A.H.O.D's phone number 931-777-9626. Again, that's 931-777-9626. Give us a shout out. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you having me here tonight.
We done put a lot of knowledge out here, man. We done made it to the end. Blog partner, Miss J. Lipscomb. We keep this thing growing legs, and we up out of here.
Blog partner, blog partner.